All right, let's get it. Let's go. Let me do a quick mic check real quick. Let's get into this. Make sure the level's cool. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Can y'all hear me out there? Hey, let me know if y'all can hear me out there. Hey, peace to the Queen, Deja. Peace to Jesse Paris for Denver Mayor. Can y'all hear me? All right, let's get it. Let's go. All right, you can hear me. All right, cool. So check this out. Of course, it's Liberation Minded Media. Make sure you check out Frontline Black News as well on YouTube. But what I want to do on this one, so I heard about this little situation that was going down. And I'm going to show you some, a couple stories that I ran across, and never mind the fact that these stories are being reported on an LGBT site. There's actually a reason why I believe that is the case, which we'll also get into because it's part of what we need to talk about. And we all know Juenteenth is coming up. And for those who don't know, Juenteenth is the celebration of when slaves were told that they were free in Galveston, Texas, which is about an hour away from where I'm at, a place where I've actually had a chance to visit. And Juenteenth would have never happened if it wasn't for the Civil War. The Civil War, as we know, would have never even been won if it wasn't for brothers like that, ancestors like that, right to the back of me. So understand that when you see these neo Confederate white boy, proud boy, race soldiers toting that Confederate flag, talking about heritage, talking about they lost their ancestors in that war, being upset, talking about the South will rise again. Here's what you got to understand. The real reason why they're salty about that war, family, they didn't just lose to their brothers from the North. In fact, history will show you that they actually were beating the North. They was beating them down. They was whooping the North's ass up until we got involved. See, once we got involved, it changed the tide of the war. So when they speak, so their anger about losing that Civil War really comes from a place of contempt and anger, knowing that they took that fade from us. Period. Study your history if you don't know that. Matter of fact, one of the turning tides of that day was September 7th, where black soldiers were hunkered down, boggled down, and just said, fuck it, and let them things go. So that's just the mindset that you to understand, just to give a little context to why they be so upset about what happened in the Civil War. They're not so mad about their northern brothers. That's not who they lost to. If it wasn't for us getting involved, they would have whipped them straight up. So anyway, let's get to this story real quick. So Juneteenth comes out of that. So when people say we shouldn't be celebrating Juneteenth and Juneteenth don't really mean nothing, or the white man gave us Juneteenth, none of that is true. First of all, we gave ourselves the celebration of Juneteenth and kept that celebration since the original Juneteenth. I'm in Texas. I know. I went to 3rd Ward, which is only, like I said, an hour away from Galveston, and they've been holding these celebrations since the 1800s, before it became nationally recognized. See, this is something that we should all know when it comes to any of these holidays, when it comes to like Black History Month or MLK Day or any of these holidays or any of these things that we revere. They were none of them were given to us. We created them. Maybe they acknowledged them later, but we created them. Give yourself credit. So anyway, so apparently, according to a couple of different publications, I'm going to share this one right here. This one's from, this one is from them. Okay, so let's go ahead and check it out. It says far-right militias, including the Proud Boys and Patriot Front, are preparing to escalate their attacks on LGBT businesses and events during Pride Month, according to reports of extremist watchdog organizations. Multiple watchdog groups told insiders last week that militia organizers from both groups are privately planning to escalate anti-LGBT provocations at Pride parades, drag shows, and other events, blah, blah, blah. And there's more, right? Where's it at? There we go. Proud Boys also plan to disrupt and co-opt Juneteenth celebrations with coordinated Proud Day events to break the chains of Pride Month. Now check this out. There's a reason why these LGBT are reporting this and linking us to the Proud Boys wanting to disrupt, as they did last year, some of their events. They're not doing it for our good. They're doing it because what they want is for us to basically see camaraderie with them, because when it comes to that smoke, they don't want the smoke. So they want us to stand up like Black Power, and yes, we're going to stand with our LGBT ally brothers. But we know that that alliance doesn't really exist. We know that they use us to try to help with their propaganda to push their agenda LGBT wise. They don't have our back like that as an organization. They don't. They really actually usurped the civil rights that we fought for and bled for and died for in 1964, which allowed them to get civil rights status. Think about this. LGBT could never be seen as a civil rights organization if they didn't use black mascots. Because without the black mascots that they disproportionately put on the front line and target our people disproportionately, without the black face in the LGBT movement, they can never be validated as a civil rights organization, because the vast majority of these LGBTs are white men and women who have no real challenges and have no real discrimination towards them. So if they really showed themselves for who they were, no one would ever see them as a civil rights advocate or some type of civil rights group or some group that needs protection. In fact, they disproportionately are in high positions. Okay, so just understand that the reason why they're trying to link this, these Proud Boys are coming after us, and you guys, you black guys are coming after you guys too. So we need to really all get together and fight this. We need the kumbaya and get the LGBT black coalition going on. Nah. They don't need to do that. They can hold their own nuts. It's just interesting. I'm just showing there's an actual reason why they kept trying to frame this as, and I'm not saying that, hey, maybe the Proud Boys want the smoke. I'm going to show you why I really don't think they do. And in my experience, being in the trenches for years and dealing with these types, these skinhead types, these hammer skins and all these different skinhead groups, one thing I do know about these cats, and I've had showdowns with them in the past. One thing I know about these cats for a fact is they only want the smoke only when they have the numbers. They only want the smoke when they can find soft targets like women and children, or maybe one lonely brother by himself outnumbered somewhere out of pocket. They surely don't pull up when we're fortified in our communities. They're definitely not doing that. You think the Proud Boys are going to pull up in 3rd Ward, Houston on Emancipation Street for this Juneteenth celebration? 100%, 1,000% guarantee they will not be in sight. They won't. They're not pulling up in the ATL. They're not pulling up in LA. They're not pulling up in Seattle, where there's plenty of Juneteenth celebrations. There will be nowhere to be seen in Oakland. You're not going to see them in Cleveland. They definitely won't be in Detroit. They won't be anywhere where we're congregated with strength. Hell, they won't be in Denver. They won't be in Las Vegas. They won't be in Pittsburgh. They won't be in New York. They may show up, but they're not showing up where we're at deep. They never do. There's been plenty of situations where they threatened to pull up. Actually, they threatened to pull up in Dallas not too many years ago to, what was it about? They were going to go to some Nation of Islam mosque. And the brothers all made their way to Dallas, and they did not show up. So I really don't think there's a threat of them showing up. So I don't want none of y'all to think that, hey, of course we got to be careful. Like the Black Authority said, sponsor every event with power tools. But these cats is pussy and they don't want the smoke. They don't want to catch the fade like that. Not when it's an even fight. I'm not saying this for people to like put their guards down. I'm just saying that we have to move with the spirit of Ogun, with the spirit of good old Nat, with the spirit of the civil rights soldiers that fought for our freedom move with that spirit, they will not be pulling up anywhere where we're fortified and strong. Yeah, if they catch you in some little suburb somewhere, some little country town where they outnumber you and you're by yourself, or it's maybe some woman or some child, that's when they strike. Soft targets. And if you don't believe me, let me show you guys something. Let me set it up like this. First, let me just show you like how they keep on echoing the same thing. Like it's just kind of sus to me that, you know, they keep on coupling this. They're going to attack us with LGBT. It's like they're trying to form some fake camaraderie when we know the LGBT don't fuck with us like that. Like a lot of these groups, they only use us to their advantage. And right now what they want is us to come with the rah-rah so that they can fortify themselves with our, you know, presence or whatever. So let's just see how they're. This is a straight up LGBT Nation type of group, and you see they're putting it on the front line. Alt-right Proud Boys are targeting Juenteenth this year. Expert warns. I don't really know if Proud Boys are even saying this or not. I'm not putting it past them to have sentiments against us. I just highly doubt. They might want to cosplay. They might want to act like they're rallying up the troops. But we know these boys are pussy, even though like some of them have been, I guess, informants for the government. You see this Mexican white supremacist dude who's been the leader and shit. I think he's the one that was like an informant or some shit. The point is, they don't want the smoke like that. And these LGBT are trying to play us. They're trying to play chess with us to make moves for them, for their protection. So I'm not saying we shouldn't be fortified and we shouldn't protect ourselves and we shouldn't be ready for whatever. What I'm saying is we shouldn't do it on behalf in any kind of way to say we're levying assistance for them. That's what I'm saying. So let's just see what they got to say about it. On the heels of news that the Proud Boys are planning disruptive protests during the Pride month of June, the counter-extremist expert Samantha Kuttner warns that the alt-right group is specifically targeting Juneteenth celebrations as well. I'm calling cap on that. I mean, I wish they would. I sincerely wish they would try to pull up somewhere where we're deep. I really would have loved to see what would have happened if they would have pulled up to the celebration that I was at last year. They would not have made it out there alive. That's on God. They would not have made it out if they came with some type of smoke. But they're pussy. So there's no way they would have came up. They would have tried to show up. There's no way that they will. Like I said, they like soft targets. Just think about like all the times that like these cats have attacked us. Think about the Dylan Roof situation in South Carolina. After he was making all these comments about how, hold on, let me do it like this real quick. After all the comments that he was making, right? Saying that he was reading all these statistics and black men are raping white women and these niggers on the corner sagging and stuff, and they're making our country look bad and all that. Did he pull up to any neighborhoods where niggas was at? Did he pull up on any street niggas? Or did he pull up in a church with women and children and wait till they had their head bowed in prayer before he attacked? That's what they do. See, if they really had a beef like they be saying, because they like to put all these statistics where black people are the most murderous per capita, and they're attacking our white women, but then they go to soft targets to kill women. Dylan Roof killed 9 women and 3 elderly men, and he waited till their heads were bowed with their eyes closed when he attacked. If he really had a problem with their brothers on the corner sagging, he would have took it to the streets. But that wouldn't have been a soft target. They're not taking it to some neighborhood where brothers be getting it like they live. They ain't taking it to some spot where we're fortified. They're not taking it to like an event for FBA. They're not taking it to like a new Black Panther Party celebration or event. I know this for a fact. Matter of fact, let me show you something. Let me show you something that, let me see. Let's add that to the stream. Let's do it like that. Let's do it like this. No, not like that. Let's do it like, not like that. Let me show you guys something real quick, man. Let me show you something that happened in 2015, 2016. When, you guys might remember this. So remember about the time, 2015, when all those protests were going on about taking down the Confederate flag. This was right after the Dylann Roof situation. Right? I remember because I was hosting a show on Black I Stand Radio where I also raised money for some brothers and sisters who was going down to South Carolina to protest the removing, or, to protest and allocate whatever for the removing of the Confederate flag in South Carolina. And at the time I was part of the new Black Panther Party. And, I raised some money, gave it to some cats that were going down there. And what happened down there, so they were at the capital of the South Carolina capital. And on one side, it was Panthers, it was RBGs, it was Street Brothers. The other side of the capital was KKK. KKK was mad because they didn't want the Confederate flag to come down. But what ended up happening was the two ended up clashing. Well, I'm going to show you. So this was as reported by NBC News, right? NBC News. Check this out. Let me turn down this music real quick. I'm going to show you something. They're only going to show you like part of the story, but I'll show you the whole story in a minute. Check this out.
Columbia, South Carolina, where passions are still running high after the removal of the Confederate flag from the State House grounds 8 days ago. Supporters and opponents of that decision took to the streets today for separate rallies that got heated at times. We get more tonight from NBC's Charles Hadlock.
The grounds of the South Carolina State House today divided once again, north and south, Black power, black and white. On the north steps, a small rally by the...
So that's rest in peace, the late Hashim Akhenaten Nzinga and the new Black Panther Party. Also, a lot of street brothers from Carolinas all over the country was there, and a lot of RBG types was there.
Black Educators for Justice, a radical offshoot of the new Black Panther Party. On the South Lawn, the Ku Klux Klan, their first march here in 27 years.
I'm here for this right here. I'm here for this flag. I'm here for my forefathers that died under this flag.
Yes, he's there for, listen to what he said. He said he's there for his forefathers who died under that flag. Now look behind me, because these are the niggas that gave him that smoked his ancestors. Like I said, that's why they're really mad on the low. They're mad because it was us that defeated them. They're not mad because of the Northerners, the Northern whites. They weren't even really a match. Yeah, they're mad because of the blood that was spilt, that we spilt. They took that fade.
The Klan demanding the Confederate flag be returned to the State House grounds. Enraged that South Carolina lawmakers voted last week to remove the flag following the massacre of the Emanuel Nine, the pastor and 8 church members of the predominantly black church in Charleston allegedly gunned down by Dylann Roof. Roof is believed to have visited white supremacist websites and posed with Confederate flags.
KKK, domestic terrorism.
If the Klan was hoping for support from the majority of the crowd, they got none.
You're a disgrace. Y'all need to go back home.
The Klan claims to have a few thousand members nationwide.
Pretty soon, this whole United States It's going to be flooded by Klan. We have Klan in every state.
But the Southern Poverty Law Center says the Klan is a shadow of its former self.
The Klan today is fractured, it is small, it's poorly led, and it's really very weak.
It's estimated there were 5 million members at its peak in 1925, 42,000 in 1965 during the Civil Rights era, and fewer than 4,000 members today in 23 fractured groups.
So, I mean, some of that's a little misleading because understand we know that they actually have infiltrated parts of the government from the local police to even up to probably judges and even a president or two that was sworn in. So it's a little bit misleading. But however, their street presence isn't nearly what it used to be. In fact, we definitely, and this is why it's important to be on code and for us to be actually doing work in the streets and supporting some of these black gun clubs, Panthers, militias, different organizations that are in the spirit of the original Black Panther Party and the Deacons of Defense and et cetera. But also why it's important to touch and reach out to some of these quote unquote gangbangers, or I would say people in street organizations, because with the proper unity and camaraderie and on codeness, like we seen happen in 2020, see, that's why that scares them so much. Because what you think about brothers in LA and all these street gangs all over the country, understanding what the real threat is, all of a sudden now you have a militia to protect against these types. And that's exactly what we've seen happen right here in South Carolina. We've seen it happen in New Orleans. We've seen it happen in Seattle. We've seen it happen in LA. We've seen it happen all over, just not sustained. But that could be the first line of defense against aggressive attacks. So they're showing that there was a little scuffle, right? There was some scuffling.
Divided the State House grounds once again today.
Okay. So they showed a mild version of what happened that day, because there was definitely a clash. But there's more. It's that same rally.
Get away from this gentleman! I would get out of here, sir.
See, this is the real energy they have when we are on code. We are fortified. They're not a match. They don't really want to see us like that. They don't. They don't really want that smoke. Because when we clash, this is what happens. If they don't have us outnumbered or a soft target to pick off, that's what you see happen. There's too many examples of this that I can show.
Don't hurt him! Hurt him, sir! Sir, don't hurt him! Sir, don't hurt him!
Sir, don't hurt them. This is supposed to be the Klan, and these supposed to be they want that smoke. Please don't hurt us. We're sorry. No, they don't want the smoke like that. They won't be pulling up, and if they do, give them the business. But don't you dare pull away from going to a Juenteenth event because you're worried about these sorry ass punks. That's not me trying to be on some tough guy shit. I'm showing you the receipts. See, we don't go to their events causing problems, and they don't really pull up on ours. But if they see that you're scared, if they see that they outnumber you, if they see that they have soft targets like our women and children being unprotected, they may strike then. Show you some more. This is the same rally. Ass whoopings. Looks like even some native brothers getting into it. Even some non-blacks are getting into it. Look at that. Look at the blood on the floor, man. See, they get in the business. You notice that same hat? See, these are these cats getting that ass whooped. This is the smoke that they don't want. Remember, the Grandmaster Jay, no matter what you think, you know what I'm saying? I know people who met him personally. He has some shenanigans about him as far as his ego, as far as some of his theatrics or whatnot. But understand that what happened, I think that was 2020, July 4th, 2020, with the Not Fucking Around Coalition. What happened was the KKK announced that they would be killing black people 8 o'clock sharp, July 4th. That's what they said. So, in fact, pulled up about 1,000 deep, armed, and let's be real. In fact, was really a bunch of other organizations that came together. So he kind of like, and no disrespect, man, I don't have nothing bad to say about him. I mean, he was egotistical a little bit. He was kind of cornballish to some degree. And he did kind of flourish a little bit like that was all his organization. It wasn't. There was a whole bunch of different organizations. Matter of fact, most of the people from that organization was from a good brother who I know in his organization. But that's a whole different story, though, because I'm not here to throw shade on that. But what I'm saying is they claimed, the KKK, that they were going to start killing black people at 8 o'clock July 4th. So they pulled up to Stone Mountain, which isn't the birthplace of the Klan. It's where they rejuvenate themselves. The birthplace was in Memphis, I think, somewhere in Tennessee. So roughly 1,000 black people pulled up armed, saying, if you start killing at 8, we're start the killing at 8:05. They didn't show up. They didn't want the smoke. That's the point. So this right here, this is something totally different, though. But I'm just showing you the energy. See, when we got that Ogun Civil War, Nat Turner, even Haitian Revolution, give them a shout out. When we have that energy where we're like, fuck it, they don't want the smoke. They really don't. So this was like, I want to say, I forgot where this was. Where was this at? Oh, this was in L.A. Where some clowns in KKK suits, or maybe they were lady KKK, was trolling or trying to scare, trying to intimidate, trying to terrorize. And this what happened. That's what I'm saying. Hey, so this is my only point, man. My point is, when we're fortified, we can't be defeated. That's just what it boils down to. When we're fortified, they don't really want that smoke. So they can do all the capping that they want. They are not showing up to no event where we are fortified and strong and on code. And this is why we have to continue this mission. This is why we have to support the same way that they supported Dylan Roof with money for what he did, the same way that they supported the Daniel Pennies for what he did it. The same way they support their killers and their murderers and their cowards. I mean, just think about this. When you think about that situation that happened in New York, what was that? Think about it. It was a trained Marine who, even 160-pound, frail, autistic, mentally challenged brother who couldn't hurt a fly really, but he still had to sneak him from behind. He still didn't even look at him like a man and approach him like a man. He still had to approach him from behind when he didn't even see it coming to choke him out. Because at the end of the day, they're cowards, but they are supported by a support mechanism and a reward system. So not only do we have to fortify ourselves, but we also have to put reward systems in place for those of us, for our people that will put it on the line to protect our own. See, this is why things like the Hidden History Museum and this reparations movement comes under attack by white supremacists and their black flunkies and tethers. Because when we get into the mode that we could be self-sufficient and support ourselves, and we could do it on our own without outside help, that signals danger. Not because, see, understand that white supremacy, they gauge threats not by intentions, but by capabilities. So us understanding that we have the capabilities to actually support ourselves to the point where we don't need their help, that is seen as a threat. Capabilities is not intentions. Example, think about the Iran situation, how they're so scared of Iran getting nuclear weapons or nuclear capabilities. They know Iran's intentions not to nuke the planet. The only people that's ever let off nukes has been the United States government. It's not about intentions. Iran hasn't been in a war for thousands of years unless somebody attacked them. They don't gauge it by intentions. They gauge it by capability. See, they know our intentions are pure. And it's really just self-sufficiency. It's really just for us to be able to take care of and protect our own. It's not to do an all-out assault. But if we have the capability, that's the threat, because intentions can change. See, this is why when they put these clowns in front of us, these talking heads at these major networks that act like they represent us, but they really don't. This is why even them, they reel them in. They don't let them get too powerful. They don't let them get too much of a voice. They don't let them get too legitimized, even though they know that their intention is just to get money and try to lead us astray. But if they get too much power, if they get too much of a voice, their intentions can change, and now their capabilities are such that if it does, and they start really spitting some real shit, it could be a problem. Think about Mark Lemoist Hill of CNN. They used him to throw Farrakhan under the bus. Then when he just said some shit like Palestinians are humans and they should be treated as such, they got rid of him. This is why they get rid of these Roland Martins. They don't keep them around for too long. This is why they got rid of Don Lemon. It's not that they were ever saying anything that was truly affecting the grassroots in the streets, but you give them too much visibility, you give them too much potential power, and if their intentions change, now their capabilities are as such that could be detrimental to white supremacy. So when they see that we can be on code and that we have a voice from the grassroots without being, you know what I'm saying? Like let's take it back to like the Hidden History Museum. Let's take it back to like all the things that we've been doing to get this message of reparations and justice out. Let's take it back to 2020, the Summer of Rage, when we were able to get support worldwide and get things done without the help of any system, without the help of any sponsorship. That's a threat to them. That's why they have to sabotage these things. This is why even in the 60s, J. Edgar Hoover said the most dangerous domestic threat was the free breakfast program that the Black Panthers were doing. Because if you're feeding the community, if you're educating and protecting the community, now you have the ear of the community. Now they'll listen to you and not them. So this is why it's important to stay on the grind with what we've been doing on these grassroots. This is why it's important to understand how much power we have in the grassroots and why we have to have our own media apparatus, because they will never show us our victories. They'll try to show us our defeats. They'll try to show us that we're dependent on them. And now that we are starting to see that we're not dependent on them and that we can make demands and really move the needle on issues if we are unified and disciplined in our messaging, they have to disrupt it. They have to bring in people, immigrants, to try to dilute our numbers. Anyway, I don't want to make this too long. Let me just see what's up. Let me see if anybody's out there saying anything. But really, I just wanted to say like this, you guys, just don't think for a minute that these Proud Boys have the ability to disrupt any kind of Juneteenth celebrations, and we need to celebrate our own holidays. I know that they try to commercialize it by making it a national holiday, and now they want to have your Target selling, Juneteenth, and Walmart selling Juneteenth collectibles and shit. Don't fuck with that. Use these holidays, our holidays that we created, that we need to revere, whether they do or not. Use that to shop with yourself. Shop with your own. Support your own businesses. Use that as a time to congregate and fellowship with our own and get that camaraderie back and get that spirit back and organization back and that support for each other back. Use it as a time and place to get that kind of shit popping. Because Juneteenth is Juneteenth, whether they acknowledge it or not. It's been Juneteenth. I've been celebrating Juneteenth, and we should be celebrating these kind of holidays because there's a spirit within these holidays, the same way that they push their holidays, because there's a spirit in these different holidays. And a lot of it has to do with economics. So don't get that twisted. It's economics, but it's also synchronizing us spiritually and morally. That's what these holidays are about. That's the power that we can harness from these holidays. So we should be taking advantage of these. We should be going to Juneteenth celebrations and Memorial Day that's honoring our ancestors, and Malcolm X days, and making up any days that we want for different purposes, because that's a time where we can get our economics straight. We can get the camaraderie and fellowship straight. And we should take advantage of every opportunity to do these things, because everything can't be online. We can't just keep things online. We got to be in each other's faces. We have to be in the same space. Online is a great way to disseminate information. It's a great way to get a message out. But we still have to have these face-to-faces. Let me see this. Have you seen the Hateful Eight movie with Samuel? Man, hey, that movie is the shit. I ain't gonna lie. I love that shit. How we did that Confederate dude's son. Yeah, I seen that. Hateful Eight is that was one of Samuel Jackson's probably best roles, if you ask me. Like when he was explaining how we marched. I mean, it got real greasy, real grimy, but I ain't even mad at it. You know what I'm saying? Because he just did them as dirty as he could think of doing them in that context. And a lot of that stuff was actually based on facts. The Hateful Eight, actually, a lot of it was really based on facts. A lot of that stuff really did happen. I mean, of course, they sensationalized and they embellished a little bit. You go live in 15 minutes. All right, put the link on there. Let me see if I can find the link and put it in there. Hold up. Yeah, so I love the Grateful Eight was a fool. He was a fool in that shit. I'm gonna find your link and put it up in there. See if you can put the link up in there, bro. And I appreciate y'all pulling up. Yeah. That's my brother Frontline Black News. Let me try to find the link though. Yeah, what's up, man? Y'all ready for tomorrow, man, in Denver though? Huh? Are y'all gonna sweep the Heat? Or are you gonna give them one game? Go ahead and give them one game, man. Give them one game. Yeah, I'm already subbed. Hold on, let me find the I know I am, but well, I want to put your link in the chat though. Yeah, let's do it in 5. Give me one, because I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. Don't be mad, but the odds was just too good. If the Heat could just steal one game, and it's a high-scoring game, the bag, you know what I'm saying, there's a good bag involved in that, man. You know what I'm saying? I still got the Nuggets winning the whole thing. I'm just saying, if the Heat could just steal one, you feel me, then it would be beneficial, man. Frontline Black News on YouTube, y'all. There it is. Let me throw this link out there. Make sure y'all support every independent new black media. Let these things grow. Let's let all these different platforms grow, especially if they're speaking the real shit. Because, you know, only by having these outlets can we make sure that we can always process information in real time. And it's like we have an ability, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's in Denver, right? And we need like different correspondents in all over the country, because a lot of these stories, like a lot of things that we've been able to do, a lot of the power that we've been able to harness on this social media has been from the fact that even if the mainstream don't pick it up, even if some of these stories don't get picked up nationally, well, in real time, we could be sharing what's really going on. Let me see if I could pin this. Anyway, yeah, make sure y'all go to that, hit that link. It's you know what I'm saying, like a lot of these police that's been getting charged and convicted only happened because we picked it up, because a lot of these stories the mainstream tried to just brush by. Like that Amber Geiger in Dallas a few years ago. Even though we know she didn't get enough time because, you know, the punk ass Tether was trying to hug on her and love on her and shit. But the point is, they didn't charge her until we made some noise on the streets. We didn't make noise on the streets until independent media, social media, and some of these bigger platforms within the independent black media picked them up. And we made them trend and go viral to where they couldn't ignore it. There's countless different times that this has happened. So the capabilities that we have is great. The potential that we have is great. But we need to expand on that. We need to be supporting ourselves the same way they support themselves. We can make anything trend. Like, there's a reason why they purposely put certain images in front of us, right? I know y'all be complaining about how, okay, we got these rappers, and the only rappers that we ever see are the ones that are ratchet and talking about drugs and sex and murdering each other and all this kind of shit. And I like gangsta. I like, you know what I'm saying? I like balance in my entertainment too. But I'm saying the reason why they intentionally just push that is because they know that we can make anything trend. We can make anything sell. So if we had the right messaging out there, the things that would trend worldwide would be things that would be assets to our movement. I mean, I'm gonna age myself, but like, I remember the Public Enemies and the KRS-Ones and the X-Clans and all these other groups back in the day, right? We still had the NWAs and the Too Shorts. It was all in balance. But we had the whole world singing things like Fight the Power. The world loves Tupac. See, these back then in the 90s, these groups were getting airplay on the radio, prime time. Yeah, you'd have Too Short, you'd have the NWAs, but you'd also have the Public Enemies and the Boogie Down Productions, the Brand Nubians. So now what they had to do as part of counterintelligence is make sure that they only push certain things. things that was detrimental to us, made money for them, but also kept us from receiving that worldwide support and from getting politically adjusted to making things happen. That's why you could only see a Nicki Minaj for women. There's plenty of women out there that's spitting some fire, that are saying a real message, or at least just showing actual lyrical skills, but they don't get that kind of support from the machine. There's plenty of brothers out there that's saying some real shit, but very few of them could slip through the cracks if they're not talking drugs, pills, sex, kill. So it's up to us to make sure we support these kind of things. Anyway, let me see. Leaders of the New School, yep. Paris, yep. Out of Oakland, yep. Conscious Sisters, I think that was one of his groups. Raskaz out of LA. There was a time where those ones were they would get just as much airplay as the Jay-Z's and whatevers. So, but we don't really need their machine to push anymore, because now, as long as we support it on the grassroots level, as long as we support it with our mechanisms and our platforms, we can still get it done. Anyway, I got a bag calling y'all. I don't want to take too long, so I appreciate y'all tapping in. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff, and make sure you check out Frontline Black News. They're about to be going live. You can see the link right here is highlighted. Find it in the comments. Fuck with it. Appreciate y'all tuning in. But just to end with the message, just to say it one more time, the Proud Boys, they're not going to be pulling up the shit. They're not pulling up the shit. And there ain't nothing to fear about the Proud Boys. There's nothing that they're going to try to pull up when we're really fortified. They want soft targets. That's what it is. I'm out.